Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of different musical, video and audio elements of the videos that I watch. And today we are diving into a band I have heard so much about and yet have heard nothing of, and that is Sleep Token. And I'm very excited about this just because of the sheer number of people, both in real life and on my channel, through messages and what have you, who have said, "You will like this, you should check them out." It's not often I get such an overwhelming recommendation, and I'm really intrigued. And they've come from odd angles too, people I wouldn't have expected. In addition, this is a personal request by my in real life friend Sarah. She asked me to do this video, and so this one's for you. And I'm really looking forward to this. I know almost nothing about Sleep Token. They're a band from London, so they're from my hometown. Great. I know that they keep themselves disguised behind masks. I know their nomenclature, Vessel being the singer, 2 being the drummer, 3 is the bassist, 4 is the guitarist when they're touring, and I think Espera is the backing vocals as well. I think that's for touring. I don't know what the situation is for album recordings, so please fill me in on that. And that really is about all I know. I know that they did, I think, Emergence, which is the song we're going to look at today. It came out recently, and I believe it was the first time they charted in the US, which is amazing. They made it to number 39 on the Billboard Hot 100. They've charted in the UK before and in Scotland. I know that much. This is just very basic research that I've done. I haven't looked into it that much because I know they're kind of enigmatic, and I kind of want to preserve that into this reaction. Beyond that, yeah, I really don't have much to go off, so I'm looking forward to finding out what's going on here. So without having much more to say, I will just say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this video from beginning to end. I will comment and emote over the top of it, and I will then go back a second time, watch it once more, this time pausing and interrupting and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can based on what I've just seen and heard and the foreknowledge of that one prior viewing. I should also probably apologise, I have a little bit of a head cold right now, so sorry if I sound a little stuffy. Please do hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, all the usual things. And if you would like to support the channel, you could do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, at patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or by leaving a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those are very gratefully appreciated. And that's about it. So without any further delay, oh, I'm going to remember to say it before the video! Please do check the description for the original video and go and support the artists. I'm going to be doing the same thing after I watch this, I'm sure. So yeah, that is all I have to say. So without any further delay, this is Sleep Token with Emergence.
Well, you were late in
Ooh.
living on a promised word.
Okay.
I am the rose you relinquished again.
This is not the sound I was expecting.
You and I are down head first in another world I had. But I have a feeling we're close to the end.
Ooh.
So come on.
Oh, this is cool.
From underneath who you were. Come on now. You know that it's time to win
They're creating a great ambiance. This is so cool. Ooh. Slightly overdriven arpeggios, that's cool.
Are you caught by my nano red glass on my light bulb, dark light on my culture, sapphire on my white gold, burst out on my chest. dust and hide out in the vents. My blood beats so alive, my body.
Okay, this is awesome.
Midnight in my mind's eye, drowning out the daylight. Godspeed to my enemies, to be asking for that call sign. You know the behavior, canines of the savior. Glory to the legion, trauma for the neighbors.
I talk a lot about evolution on this channel, and I love that they're just constantly building. And this video is hypnotic.
I've got solar flesh for your dead god, space dust for your fuel.
Yes! Oh, this is good!
Dancing through the depths of hellfire on the winds that started from within. My blood beats so alive, might tear right through my skin. So tell me what you meant by living past your half-life and lockstep with the universe and your well-versed in the afterlife.
It's so rhythmic. This is fantastic.
Fired by what's below, no matter what you do, no matter where you go. You might be the one to take away the pain and let my mind go quiet. And nothing else is quite the same.
It's so floaty all of a sudden. Yes! Oh, that bass. And there we go, that pullback again. They're playing with us so much. Oh. Oh, that fill. Wow, their frequency spectrum is massive now. Oh. Wait, what? Where'd the saxophone come from? This is fantastic. Oh. 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 Hints at what's next, maybe. Ah! What just happened? I think my mind just melted. That was incredible. I had no idea what I was expecting, but that kind of stylistic mashup was not... I mean, what do we had hip-hop, we had metal, we had jazz, we had, like, sort of easy listening piano. My goodness. That's a roller coaster of a song, and it's so good. And the choice to have this hypnotic video that is effectively, it's almost like a screensaver, except for the fact that the flag burns away to nothing. Like, what a powerful thing to have. It keeps your focus the whole time, because it's really the only thing that's changing. I don't think it is. I think there's a few things. I saw a couple of things caught my eye in the periphery, and I need to actually pay attention to them the second time around. Good holy mother of... whatever. Yikes! Okay, I'll be back in a second. I just want to check the description and see if there's any information. Okay, not a lot of information there, but I do want to give credit to Norway, who did the animation, because it is just beautiful. There's other digital and otherwise creative directors down there. Feel free to check the description for yourselves. But I did just want to shout Norway out, because this animation is fantastic, and it's such an interesting kind of pairing to have something like this that is, sure, a flag is being burned away, but at the same time there's something very kind of gentle and calm about the whole thing. Like, it's not like the whole forest goes up in flames. And it's just pairing that with this music that kind of goes in and out of these massive kind of crashing metal sections and then pulls right back to very bare bones stuff, and yet it's also intricate. This is extraordinary. Let's go back, watch this again. There's going to be not a lot of visuals to... I might talk about them a couple of times. But there's not a lot to go through in the visual because it's a fairly simple video. But yeah, let's just see what I can pull out. Having said that, I am first going to talk about the video. The use of color in this is extraordinary. Because if you look at what we have available to us, we have grayscale. That is to say, black and white, essentially. We then have these shades of almost deep purple into very pale pink. These all various forms of reds with varying degrees of blue and green and yellow kind of fading into the background a little bit and causing different colors, right? You know, that's how you kind of change color on the red spectrum. With the different shades going with them as well. And then just this flag. And once again, that colouring sets it apart, just like the fire does. The colouring sets it apart because the green and the cream are nowhere else in this video. That is only the flag. And so your eye is drawn to it because it's different. Plus it's in the centre of the screen, which kind of makes it impossible to avoid. But you could put this thing in the back corner and you would still pay attention to it in the first frame of the video, or the first couple of frames, because it is different, and I love that. It's such a powerful statement, their use of colour just in this scene. Absolutely incredible.
Well, you were late.
That first impression is extraordinary. You get that that note there, just in the background. I'm not quite sure what that is, actually, that's playing that right there. But you have that just sailing through, and then that, well, you were late. Very kind of... I don't know what I was expecting vocally. I think having seen the masks, I was almost expecting us to kind of come in with the death metal kind of thing, which I cannot do. It's a really... great voice quality there to accompany their music, because it gels so well with different styles, which I think is really, really cool. It's given them a lot of flexibility. It's also nice to hear somebody singing with a metal band without necessarily using what we would term a metal voice, which is kind of cool, because I don't have a metal voice, and I always got jealous of that sort of thing. And then you start hearing, so it's one of the reasons I like symphonic power metal. You hear people like Arcadia and Floor singing with a metal band, and they have these beautiful operatic tones. I know Floor obviously goes very rock as well as that, but these beautiful operatic tones, and you're like, oh, you can sing with a classical voice in a metal band, which I kind of love. But there's a rawness to his quality. That's really, really kind of, it pulls you in. It's got character. His voice has a lot of character. This is great.
Well, you were late in bus living on a promised word. Well, I am the rose you relinquished again.
I love, he's got very clear enunciation. You know, the rose you relinquished again. It's very clear what he's singing. Which is lovely. But it doesn't feel like it's detracting in any way. It's not like he's the rose you relinquished, that sort of thing, which would be, you know, massively overblown. He's just clear and easy to understand, and that is awesome because you can really, really get sucked into the song by listening to him.
Rose you relinquished again. You and I are down head first in another world. I have a feeling.
They're really setting up atmosphere with the way they're using the piano here. Just these rolling chords and just a couple of passing notes here and there. It's leaving the instrumental sort of vacuum around it to be filled by everything else that's going to come in, which I really, really like. And it's just the beginning part of this massive evolution that this song goes through. They really, like, a lot happens in this. I realize this is a long song. It's 6.5 minutes. A lot happens in 6.5 minutes.
Another world I have a feeling we're close to the end.
Oh, that's so interesting. And we're close to the end. I have a feeling we're close to the end is a very... It doesn't sound like an upbeat phrase, really.
I have a feeling we're close to the end.
And what an uplifting chord sequence there. You've got that... it's a chord being played, I think, in the first inversion. So the bass note of the piano is a third, I think. So it's got this slightly hopeful, uprising quality to it, and then the whole melody line goes up as well, and it gives us this brightening of the sound for a second there. He's had over da 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 da. There's our minor third. He's hitting that a lot. And now all of a sudden we get this hopeful sound. It's a lovely, lovely moment of transition. Let's go back one more time.
In another world I have a feeling we're close.
Very dark. And that lifts it up. And then we da 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 da, and we hit in. The guitar comes in, which is a brighter sound than the piano. We've got a more major tone now, and he goes up into that higher register there. We join it. The amount that happens in that transition moment there to change the tone of the song is incredible. I love his use of break there. Come on, come on. The break between the come and the on, and then a bit of a glottal hitting the on as well to kind of give it an extra push. But it just gives us a little moment of anticipation, and then the payoff of that harder on with the slide down on it as well for emphasis. There's a lot there that kind of really pushes that message home, much more than if he just sang it without that break. The chords and the instrumentation that we've got going on here, this kind of fingerpick guitar, it's giving us a very sort of hopeful feeling coming out of where we just came from, and I think it's lovely because we as I say, we've totally changed the tenor of the song at this point, but he's done it in such a way that because the natural progression of the song is up, the shift into things that are naturally higher registered, like the guitars, isn't jarring in any way. We've had the song rise to meet that higher register rather than just suddenly jumping up there out of nowhere. It's been prepared for us by what's come previously, if only very briefly, but it doesn't need to be a big preparation. It's not a snap up, and that it allows the ear to acclimatize very, very easily to what we're hearing, which I think is fantastic. That's an interesting one too. Come on, come on. He hits the M at the beginning that time. We don't have that glottal, that hard glottal on that we had previously. Now it's mon, the m being one of the lightest attacks to a note that you could have. It's very, very gentle compared to that absolute hit that we got from the glottal stop prior, which I think is really, really nice. It's giving us a little bit of variety, but it's also, he's had that initial push, now he could be a little bit more gentle with the person he's talking to.
Come on now. You know that it's time to win
And lovely that long phrase, you know, it's time to win by. There's a whole chain of melody notes going on there, and it's lovely because it's drawing this whole thing out a little bit. We're not getting changes all the time. We've now got this this long running vowel sound that's kind of elongating the end of that phrase a little bit, and we're going to change tenor again now just a little bit, and it's pushing us into that really, really nicely. It's great. And already, just from that, for what we've got so many things that have changed. It doesn't sound like we've dropped that far in register, though this voice is lower, but we've obviously got a bit of post-processing on it. And then hitting that repeat, arms around me, arms around me, arms around me. It gives us immediately a different vibe to what we're listening to, because up until this point we haven't had a repeat, we haven't had a lyric that's been sung twice. We've been moving forwards in the story, we've been listening to the dialogue that this character has been putting out, and now all of a sudden it's not just repeating the same line, it's repeating the same melody, the same rhythm, where it sounds like a record skipped, and it's leading beautifully into the musical style change that we're about to have. But it does so in a really interesting way, because the simple repetition there tells us that we've changed already, even though the change is comparatively minor compared to what's coming. And that's a really, really smart little bit of build-up. And I think also arms around me, it's such an interesting line to focus on in a repeated fashion. I think that's a really good choice of a lyric to have repeating there. And in the background, we just have this very gentle kind of string effect almost. The focus is entirely on the vocal at that point. The instruments are very set back in the mix, and it's just giving us this sort of sense of support rather than being particularly present. And I think that's really, really nice for the focus that we have here. And then we have these lovely kind of overdriven arpeggios, the overdrive being that kind of slight push that's in there. I assume that's the effect that's been applied. Really, really nice, because we've left that space by having those instruments pulled away for anything to fill the gap. So we fill it with something we haven't heard yet, because that seems to be what these guys do, and I love it. In comes this electronic sound that's very, very different in tone from anything we've had in the music so far. But again, we've had that bit of post-processing on the voice that says, okay, we're going somewhere a little bit different now. This is just doubling down on that and preparing us for the next section. And there's a little bit of bass support coming in that final repetition there. So we have two that are more or less the same of the whole go ahead and wrap your arms around me, arms around me, arms around me sequence. We have two that are the same. Then we add this arpeggiated figure. Then we add a little bit of bass underneath just to kind of give a little bit of weight. And that's such an interesting change. Listen to this bass particularly. Comes in. Gone. It drops out on that for the final arms around me, so that there's a little bit of space that then gives room for this section to then come in on top, which I think is so good. This is so interesting. So that keyboard or whatever it is that's doing the, I assume it's a keyboard that's doing the arpeggios at that point in time, keeps going. We've set that up, and it's a part of this section, but we set it up early, and now it keeps going. We get this boom, boom kind of bass going on that's giving us a bit of weight into, and a little bit of rhythm as well in the way that it's being played. We then have the sort of electronic kit that's being played as well. Very, very rhythmic, very kind of, it's got a jerky quality to it. That kind of goes well with the vocals at this point in time. The way that they can shift so seamlessly between such discordant styles is remarkable. I'm really, really impressed. I love how melodic the vocals are too. Like the depth he goes to here. Died out in my vest, my blood beats. Like there's a real motion to where he's going. It's still melodic, even though it's got a much more of a kind of rapped quality to it than the singing that we had earlier. The melody isn't lost. And that I think is one of the things that it makes this so effective, is because there is consistency of certain aspects throughout sections. And consistency of melody throughout this entire thing. The melody in this is remarkable. I'm very, very impressed. I like the rhythm that we've got here. Da 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 da. There's kind of it's got a Morse code feel to it, by which I mean there are long notes and there are short notes, and it's the pacing between the two of them is really, really interesting in the sense that it's keeping a rhythm going, but it's also keeping it just varied enough that it keeps an additional attraction to the ear of this kind of quick, pacey rhythm, which of course just matches the lyric. It makes complete sense. It's what you would do naturally. It's just I'm merely pointing out that I think it's very effective in this particular section. The bass is doing quite a bit of heavy lifting here as well, because really you just have this going over in the top hand section. So if you listen to the bass, bum 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 bum, we're down there for most of it, and then the dum dum dum. That little descent there gives us a little bit of variety in what we're hearing. It changes the chords even while the chords aren't changing that much. Because that whole arpeggiated section is actually, again, surprisingly far back in the mix at this point in time. We can hear that it's shifting around and it's changing what it's doing, but you can't necessarily pinpoint the notes because it's distant. It's acting as support for everything else that we're focusing on, which is the drums, the bass, and the vocals. Oh, didn't mean to hit the keyboard there. And I really, really like that because it gives us, we can hear the detail in everything that's going on, and you don't have to hear the exact sort of integral changes that are happening at any given moment in exact detail, but you can hear Sorry, I'm mincing my words right now. You can hear that things are changing, and you can get the vibe of what's being changed still very effectively with the way that it's all been mixed, and I think that's so cool.
Glory to the Legion, trauma for the neighbors.
So now we have this section again, but we have this this incessant set of chords going on behind, which of course are shifting around a little bit. But it's given now all of a sudden. The first time around, yes, it was being repeated, and you got that sense that it was building to something, but go ahead and wrap your arms around me, arms around me. There was the way it was there with just primarily the vocals and that little bit of support, kind of still gave it a calm quality in the moment. Now there's an urgency to it because we have this but, very, very kind of determined chord pattern that's going on underneath it, and it's pushing it forward a lot more than it was. And this is what I'm talking about with Evolution. Like, we're getting the same thing happening again, but with a very, very different accompaniment. I think that's fantastic. And now we add a pedal note in there, bum, 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 which doesn't change. The chords above it change, but it doesn't change the whole way through that section. So we call that a pedal note because it's the same note being played throughout. That's a really nice change because it gives us a depth and it gives us a bit more tonality to what those chords are actually sitting on, but it doesn't change the nature of them particularly. It just gives us a little bit of something extra and a little bit more bass sound to listen into. Very, very cool. And now we have vocal harmony, we have strings coming in the background. We're really building through this, and I think it's so good. This is such a great little hook, because it's also so easy to remember, isn't it? Go ahead and wrap your arms around me. It's such a simple line, and I really, really like their use of it throughout this. And then, and this cymbal rhythm. I love this so much. That but no drums involved at all. All being done on the ride cymbal, I think. So cool. And then just that little... just a little hit, just to give it a little bit more of something. This build. And again, they do the same thing. The final arms around me, everything cuts out. And whereas before you had kind of like a woo, boom. This time it's the huh, boom. There's just that little sort of vocalization on the fourth beat of that bar. And we come back in with the new section. Oh, this is so cool. Because we're doing the same thing we did last time, but completely differently. It's the artistry that goes into something like this is incredible. Believe me when I say that mashing genres together the way that Sleep Token are doing right now is not as easy as they're making it sound. This is really carefully planned out. Oh, sorry, it was third beat vocal, fourth beat drum fill. My bad. Anyway. Yes. This is so good. I love the fact that they've gone for a like the bum-ba-dum-ka-dum-chum. Like it's quite an involved beat, but because they're leaving the second half of the bar empty, it gives it this really strong halftime feel, which is so cool. And then that syncopated da da da. You don't sit here feeling like it doesn't feel like a da 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 da. Like that's not the vibe it's giving you. It's da 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 da. It's very, very much that halftime feel to it, which I think is really, really cool because it still gives them places to go. It's just so well built. I've got soul of lesbian
dead god, space dust for your fuel rods, dark days.
What lyrics too? Like I'm not commenting on the lyrics enough. The lyrics in this are so good. I've got, was it solar flare?
I've got
Solar flares for your dead gods.
dead god, space dust for your fuel.
Space dust for your fuel rods. Like the lyrics are fascinating. It's so cool, and where we've gone, and if you just think about that hook of arms around me, and it's just where we go from that is extraordinary.
I've got solar flares for your dead god, space dust for your fuel rods, dark days for your solstice, dancing through the depths of.
And interestingly, how the vocals are pushed as well. I want to go back on that.
I've got solar flares for your dead god, space dust for your fuel rods, dark days.
The solar dust for your dead god, space dust for your fuel rods. There's a lot of syncopation in there, pushing just ahead of the beat. Really, really like that because it gives an energy to that vocal line, keeps it pushing forwards.
I've got solar flares for your dead god, space dust for your fuel rods, dark days for your solstice, dancing through the depths of hellfire on the winds that started.
And there as well, that change.
Solstice, dancing through the depths of hellfire.
Hellfire is also pushed. That Hellfire, they're going up there at that point. He's also shifted in that syncopated sense. So we hear the chord change coming a half beat before it actually comes, which is so cool.
Dark days for your solstice, dancing through the depths of hellfire on the winds that started from within. My blood beats so alive, my tear right through my skin soul.
And again, we're getting this same melodic feature, but we're getting it with this really heavy metal background. And I think that is so cool because we've got, it's so much more powerful now than it was the last time around, and we're really going places. And it's just so effective. I can't get my head around how they've managed to do this. It's extraordinary.
Within my blood beats so alive, my tear right through my skin soul. Tell me what you meant by living past your half-life and lost.
Oh, hang on. I was trying to compare.
Your solstice, dancing through the depths of hellfire on the winds that started from within my.
Yeah, you can hear we've got all of this. There's a lot of closed hi-hat drumming that's going on here, and a few crash hits in this. But wait till we come back to the tonic key at the end of this phrase.
Blood beats so alive, my tear right through my skin soul. Tell me what you meant by living.
We've got a little bit more ride coming in here, just evolving the drum part a little bit, just making it. There's always something new to listen to. 2 is keeping this very, very involved, and I really, really like that.
I tear right through my skin soul. Tell me what you meant by living past your half-life and lockstep in the universe and your well-past in the afterlife. You know that I'm sanctified by what's below, no matter what.
So interesting too that the consistent thing throughout all of this, the most unbroken thing is the vocals. Vessel doesn't stop singing throughout this whole section, whereas the guitars stop a little bit. The drums, 2 continues pretty consistently as well, but there's a more broken sense to them because they're drums. That's kind of what they do. But because there's these da 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 da, like the Vessel's line is long. Like there's a lot of sort of long phrases in this, and that's kind of what's gluing everything together, which is kind of not what you necessarily expect to hear. And I really like that they're sort of subverting that a little bit.
Past your half-life and lockstep in the universe and your well-past in the afterlife. You know that I'm sanctified by what's below, no matter what you do, no matter where you go. You might be the one to take away the pain.
And then completely different again. You might be the one to take away the pain. Whatever the notes are that he's singing at that point in time. We've just come for this da da ba da 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 da. It just goes completely to a different place, and again, it's so smooth the way that they've done it. It's great. Oh, what a line. You might be the one to take away the pain and let my mind go quiet. Wow, that's strong. That's really good. And I love that we have that powerful of a thought with this lovely, because it's a healing sense, but with this lovely kind of floaty vocal and instrumentation that's just come out of this really heavy rock drumming and guitar, distorted guitar work. It's a completely different feel, but it works so well for the lyric. And how long he sits on quiet. This is a melisma, is the musical term for it, where you sing multiple notes for the same syllable. So quiet, quiet doesn't feature a melisma, but quiet, the 3 notes of qui is a melisma. In this case, it's ut, the second part of the word that he just sits on. It's this lovely sudden embellishment on it that it's the end of the word, it's the very last bit of the phrase, and suddenly we pick up and fall again in a very unexpected way. It's really cool. And same thing happens there, but this time there's almost more of a purpose to it that time, because it leads us into that next hit of the percussion, the re-entrance of the guitars. But that I love the fact that he does it, but this time side, he doesn't move quite as much. It doesn't have that sudden movement. It's a little bit more gradual, and I think that's a really, really nice change. Kind of leads us into a new section more naturally. Can I just say, by the way, I'm not saying much about the video because I say there's not a crazy amount. I mean, it's beautifully detailed, but there's not a crazy amount to it. But I love that we have fragments, like you can see here, these fragments of the flag that have just burned away and are just floating through the air. The attention to detail in this is, you could have just had the flag burn up, but that's not what happens. Little bits get wafted away by the thermal updraft and float around a little bit. And I love that that detail has been added. That's so good. And now we get this come on figure with the glottal again this time, but with this long, drawn-out, distorted guitar. It's not particularly heavy. Yes, it's a big sound, but it's not got the same weight that we had with the previous kind of more metal-sounding section. This one's actually, weirdly enough, giving me Fight Star vibes. I'm not sure why. I'm associating it with something, but I can't think what. But it's got that kind of more drawn-out quality to it. And I really, really like that for the Come On, Come On. You don't want that to be too heavy, I don't think. This is the perfect setup for that. Two's working really hard here as well. These drums are fantastic. That little fill that he just threw in there. It's just giving that little. The drums are kept interesting the whole way through, and they never detract, which I think is it's a knife point balancing act to be able to do that, and he's doing it so well. I say he, I should be saying they, because we don't know anything about them, right? I think I was just defaulting to that because I've been talking about a male voice the whole time. But yeah, anyway, correcting myself there. I love the weight that we've got with that low bass dum dum. Voice is going. But that down on that fourth, underneath the bass just sitting down there, and it's giving this great weight to it that's then being enhanced by the strength of the guitar chord. That like it really feels like there's a groundedness to this part of the song, that I think it's having come out of something so airy previously to now kind of be sitting so solidly grounded is really, really cool. And then that time we get faked out because we get the arms around me, but we only get a single phrase of it. And then we get that same vocalization, drum hit, in we go. That same exact model, but we've been faked out by it coming in immediately, rather than us having at least two of those. And this time it is slightly different because that pad sound in the back carries on through. We don't have total instrumental silence for the final arms around me. So it's another little bit of fake out there. I really like that. Oh, this time it's two vocalizations, isn't it? Hey, what? Right, got it. More changes. Da, 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 da. Like moving this is so good. Like adding in those little extra notes here and there just to change up the pattern. We can clearly hear it's the arms around me, but being played by the band, but they're doing some things a little bit differently to the singer. Oh, so good. And throughout that, the drums, but they're in pattern. They're in rhythm with the melody line at that point in time, which is not often the case in this song. Usually, Two's doing his own thing a little bit, doing their own thing a little bit. Really, really cool. Oh, what was that? That fascinating. The drum fills in this are so good. Isn't it different this time around? With that really heavy kind of power sounding guitar and drums underneath. It's such a different vibe to the first time we heard this. It's really, really cool. I think it changes the message a little bit, which is so nice because it means that each time these guys come back and repeat a section of the song, it's not the same. It's giving us a slightly different tone than it did the last time, and it keeps it so engaging. What is my life? I love that we come out of that and we just get that moment of peace. Like, nothing is ever the same as when I'm by your side. You could end that song there and it would be an effective ending. It's just the leaving that vibe in the air, but we go somewhere completely different. Completely different. To a lounge saxophone. Of all if you'd asked me at the beginning of this, and hilariously, I used to be in a band back in the UK when I was there. I was the lead singer and rhythm guitarist of a band for a while, and one of our albums, we had a song that broke into. We were alt rock, inspired by sort of Biffy Clyro and 100 Reasons, Jimmy Eat World, bands like that. And one of our songs, about 3 minutes into it, I suddenly broke into a tenor sax solo. Still, having done that gag ourselves, I would never have anticipated it in this. It's such an amazing surprise at the end of the song. I love it. And it's the most jarring change in the entire song. There's no natural lead into a saxophone in this song. And yet, somehow, by this point, it fits. It has no right to fit as well as it does, but it fits. It's so good. Good player, too. There's a lovely cleanliness to those notes. It's a lovely melody. I love the fact that it sails quite high. We haven't had a lot of really kind of high stuff in this song. In the backing, yes, but not so much to the forefront. And so having those nice, really high notes up there just gives us a little bit of extra timbre to the song before we end it. And I love there's just a little growl in the sound. It's not too much, but just enough to give it a little bit of extra texture up on that high note there. Really nice. And that da 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 da, just like gentle descent, really, really effective. Oh, so good. I want to try and freeze frame this. I was taught a trick by Mortius. You can actually advance YouTube by frame. Well, that's cool. It's a shame the YouTube end card is kind of covering it. Before I come on to talking about this frame, that saxophone is so cool, and I love the fact that it's kind of like a combination of an actual ending and a fade-out ending, because it does kind of end, but also it does fade away. But I think in this case it's so perfect for the tone of the video, actually, because as the flag finally burns away, that's the music sort of fades away with it. I think that's really, really effective. And then out of all of that, you go from this video that hasn't changed an inch since it began, other than the flag burning away. And all of a sudden we get this distortion effect and we see some kind of demon creature fighting a knight over this same area. Whether this is what happened a long time ago and the flag was left behind, or whether this is what's about to happen, I don't know. I have no context for the story of this. But it's such a cool feature to have this hidden away at the end of the video. I really, really like that. It suddenly gives this area that we've been watching and we've got used to, it gives us this very violent story that we have no understanding of whatsoever, but it just fills in that blank of where potentially did this flag come from, or why is this area significant? And I think that's really, really cool. What a cool touch. And I love, it's a shame I can't see the this distortion as well. That's so cool. It goes kind of pixelated. I'm so glad Mortius showed me how to do this before I saw this video. And then we cut back in the use of this color flickering in and out as the distortion rips across the screen. And then we get another one, I think, in a sec. Yeah, there we go again, and it pixelates in. We get the pixelated background as it shifts over. Oh, his weapon has changed. Interesting. He has a broken... The demon character has a broken sword here. And yet when we go on a little bit back into here, now it's repaired, and it's this weird kind of hook sword thing. Interesting. So we see you're sort of seeing history or future kind of repair itself slightly. Oh, and now he's lurching forward, so we're getting a little bit... I couldn't see this much detail beforehand. Oh, this is so cool. And then the fight's really about to begin. And you can see the knight has barely moved, and this thing has crossed so much ground coming at him. This is so cool. And there he is. There's the engagement finally. Yeah, they're inside each other's guard. That's not going to go well for either party, as far as I can tell. And then... Oh, and the knight wins. Okay. Ah, so much detail that I would have totally missed if I didn't know how to do this. And that's it. Wow. What a song, what a video, what an amazing piece of artistry. That's incredible. I totally get why people are recommending these guys to me, because this is phenomenal. That was an experience. That was such an experience, and wow, what... yeah, I'm coming back to these guys in the future. That was remarkable. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed watching this, because this was an absolutely remarkable experience. And I hope I was able to add something. If you've never seen Sleep Token before, check out that description for the link. Go over to their channel, support them, listen to them. If you've never heard this song before, go do the same. And if you have heard it 100 times, maybe... hopefully I was able to bring something to the table where you're like, oh, I never noticed that before, or oh, that's why I like that bit. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with these videos. And I hope I managed to achieve that, because this was truly remarkable. I really, really appreciate everybody who recommended these guys, because I'm in for a new exploration, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's not often I find... Oh, you know, as somebody else who recommended them to me actually did so off the back of my Diablo Swing Orchestra music that inspired me. No, sorry, it was a reaction. I did the reaction to it, to Superhero Jagannath. And again, they have that eclectic feel, but in a different way to Sleep Token. And this is going to be a road that's going to be very interesting to go down, so I'm looking forward to that. And that's it, I think. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate your time that you spend with me here, especially if you're still here at the end of the video. Please do hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell, and if you would care to support me, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can leave a one-off donation of any amount and or contribute to my wishlist item. You can head over to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can sign up for $2 or $4 Canadian or your regional equivalent, and that will give you a means of supporting me in an ongoing fashion, and it will give you access to my Discord, and by the end of the year, I've got plans in motion to start doing more with it. Or you can leave a super thanks here on YouTube, and all of those will be very, very gratefully received if you would choose to do them. Of course, no pressure. And that's it for this week. I'll be back again next week with some more awesome music to cover. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really do appreciate it. Look after yourselves. Take care. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, whatever time it might be. Morning, afternoon, nighttime, tea time, high tea time. Second breakfast, you know, any of those things. Let's what should we pick? Let's go for 3:07 p.m. See if someone's watching then. But yeah, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.